Many people begin and end their trip to Nashville with the neon lights of Lower Broadway. But just a few blocks away, the pace shifts. Historic buildings, tree-lined sidewalks, charming coffee shops, beautiful boutiques. Germantown is one of those places where old warehouses sit next to quiet residential streets, and where some of Nashville's most exquisite restaurants are woven in. It's a side of Nashville you don't always see, and that's what makes it special. That's also why I'm here at Tailor, a Michelin-recommended restaurant led by chef and owner Vivek Surti. He's a James Beard semi-finalist whose cooking is deeply rooted in memory and culture and storytelling. When Tailor opened, it caught national attention fast. But what's kept it special is something quieter. The way it feels less like a restaurant and more like being invited into someone's home. It's more than just a dinner. It's an experience. I'm Jenna Von Oy, and welcome to StyleBlueprint's Pull Up a Chair. In this series, I get into the kitchen with some of the South's favorite chefs as they cook a dish that really means something to them. Then we sit down, eat together, and talk about how they got started, what brought them to town, and why this food and this corner of the city means so much to them. So pull up a chair to Nashville's best chefs, dishes, and neighborhoods. Okay, I am officially in the Tailor kitchen with Vivek and about to admire his knife skills. How's that for an icebreaker for you?
Sounds great.
and then I have a first question for you.
For sure. So here we just got a little bit of scallion that we're just gonna slice for the beef tartare.
Beautiful. Is there a cooking method that you use that is kind of your go-to?
One that is unique to at least the food that we do, Gujarati cuisine, is a technique called vagar. Very commonly done in India. But essentially what it is it's blooming spices in hot oil. And what it does is it immediately starts releasing all the essential oils from those spices into the fat. And then you use that flavored fat to then cook the next step of the dish. So whether you're putting chicken in or whether you're putting some vegetables or potatoes or whatever it is, it's kind of creating that flavor base at the beginning. Here at Tailor, we put spice in everything. So just whole serrano chilies. I never take the seeds out. So this is kind of like homemade spices that have been vagared, basically, in an oil until they become crispy. We'll kind of use that chili crisp to dress the tartare. Yes. This is the lifter meat on the ribeye. So we use this part of the meat for tartare itself. And a good way for us to utilize all parts of the animal.
Sure.
So it's like we'll use the bones to make a broth to make the base of the sauce. So really just trying to utilize the whole, the product as much as we can. And you can see already the marbling in it is so nice.
I like to call that culinary fairy dust.
Yes, oh, that's a good word. Yeah. I like that. Chili oil that we talked about. And this is, the majority of it is coriander seed, but then there's also a little bit of black pepper and fennel seed in here.
Okay, such a pretty color.
And it's like you can already start kind of smelling the aroma of the chili oil, and the coriander seed. And
that citrus in there is beautiful.
Yes. And I think it's also interesting because I think so many people, when they think of Indian food, they don't necessarily think of beef as something that's served in India. And while that is true, for most people that are Hindu, there's a large Muslim population as well as a large Catholic population. So it's like there are beef dishes that you find on the subcontinent. And so here it's like, okay, let's try to turn it into almost like an Indian street food dish and kind of using all these different components in a dish that we've always grown up with, but kind of seeing beef tartare through that lens in a new way.
This is such a treat. First of all, of course, I'm gonna put my napkin on my lap. Gotta do the polite thing here. I would love to hear a little bit about this dish. I got to watch you make it a little bit, but I would love to hear about some of what's in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is kind of a version of beef tartare, but done in the Indian style of street food. Really where this dish started was, it has this really fun texture that's almost a little bit like flank steak.
Okay.
And so naturally we kind of went into a tartare kind of world. But we wanted to do it through the Tailor lens, which is a first-generation American style of food. I thought the flavors of street food in India would be a fun way to showcase this beef. And then the sauces that we have is a little bit of tamarind chutney, which is sweet and sour. We have a little cilantro chutney, which is herby and spicy.
Is that the green oil?
That's the green one,
okay.
Yeah. And then we have some chili peanuts on here.
It's so colorful.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
The fun part about Indian street food is it's meant to be eaten where you get a ton of flavor all at once, but also a lot of cool and interesting textures.
So there's fruit and there's spice and there's crunch and there's all the good things.
Yeah.
So can I taste it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't eat alone.
No, please, no, please, I can't eat alone.
But the key is to kind of mix everything up together. Yeah.
You know, you're one of Nashville's most celebrated chefs, and you're such a storyteller, which I love. So what inspired your culinary career? What is the story behind that?
So to me, this restaurant is named after all of my grandparents. And all of my grandparents were tailors by profession. So my dad's dad actually made clothes. My mom's dad sold sewing machines. Everybody was in the textile business in some form or fashion. The reason why Tailor exists was to preserve the heritage of the food we grew up with, but also showcasing the place we grew up in, which is right here in Nashville, Tennessee. When I first started cooking, you know, I started cooking for fun, but I was not focusing on the food that I grew up with and the culinary tradition that I really love. But then I kind of came back home. For me, being first generation, so I was born here in Tennessee, but my parents are from India, that food is a very important way to carry on our culture. I think that Indian food is so misrepresented throughout the world because most people think of it as curry and chicken tikka masala and naan bread. And none of those three things are actually Indian. And the cuisine of India is very regional, but it's also one of the most historic cuisines. You know, these are dishes that have existed for thousands of years. At the same time, we wanted to share those dishes with the world. Beyond Tailor, there's not that many Gujarati restaurants anywhere in the world. And we really wanted to take the home cuisine and showcase that here at a restaurant. So it's really a celebration of our culture, both my heritage, but also the place that I call home, and combining those two things to produce this restaurant.
It really says so much. It speaks so much to the atmosphere in here too, that it's such a home away from home, feeling like family the second you walk in.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have a first early memory of food?
We were a family that always were around the kitchen. So when we had breakfast in the morning, we were talking about what we're gonna have for lunch. When we're having lunch, we're talking about what we're gonna have for dinner. When we're at dinner, we're like, what are we gonna have for breakfast the next day? My mom and my grandmother, they would go out into the garden to pick whatever vegetable was the most fresh, and really instilled kind of this seasonality. And when we would travel to India as well, we would get all that seasonality. So there was like, you know, we'd go during the summer when it's mango season. You would have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner. You'd have it cut up into pieces. You'd have it as a shake. And everywhere you went, people wanted to showcase something that they grew. What I found was it was never as much about the things they were making. Food was the medium through which they built their relationships. It's this way for us to build community. And so for us, that's something that we try to bring here at Tailor, that way through which people can build real connection.
Yeah. That invisible thread.
That's right.
Yeah. You talked about embracing seasonality growing up. Are there any other ways that growing up Indian American shaped the way that you look at food, the way that you view it or eat it? We
ate things a little bit differently, right? Like I remember learning how to eat with my hands. And you know, here in America, my dad was always like, oh, you need to use a fork and a knife. And when we would travel to India, if I would eat with my hands, my grandfather would then say, oh, you're a real Indian now, right? Because to them, it's like, in India, they say the food tastes better when you eat it with your hands. Now, when I eat Indian food at home, like that's something that I like to eat now with my hands. What I think makes America really amazing and exceptional is that you have these cultures that can come together. You can see the similarities between them, making it just a richer food culture in general.
Well, that makes me even more excited to try the next dish.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we are on our second dish.
That's right.
Talk to me a little bit about this beauty.
Yeah. So this is inspired by the Southern tradition of fish fry. So my parents moved here in the late 70s, and on Fridays there was this tradition where people would not eat meat on Friday. So what they would eat is fish. And at the time, of course, not very close to the water, so it would be river fish and specifically catfish. And my mom, being the host that she is, said, I want to host my own fish fry. But of course, she wanted to add all the spices that she grew up eating fish with. Things like garlic, black pepper, cumin seed, turmeric, and cilantro. And it just became one of those signature things that she does. And so even today, our close family friends will ask my mom, hey, when are you doing the fish fry? She still does it once or twice a year.
I love it.
And to me, it's one of the most delicious things I've ever had, but also is a very true representation about our family's food. What we have here is actually a little bit of black cod from Massachusetts that has the same exact marinade recipe that my mom used. So it's we brought her in here, I had her show me exactly how to make it, and we make it to a T with her recipe.
I love it. So pretty.
Yeah, thank you. Dig in.
This is exquisite.
Thank you.
Truly. I think I just need to take a moment to really enjoy this and savor it. Gosh, that fish is so good.
Yeah.
That is just so good.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I have to ask you some more questions.
Yeah, sure.
When you have something to prove, what is your go-to dish to make?
Yeah. My favorite dish to make, and the dish that I'm most proud of serving here, is a very simple one called dal. So dal in itself is just a lentil soup. Every household in India makes it almost every day with different lentils, different spices, different seasonings. But I would say for many people, to understand dal is to understand Indian food culture, because this is such a staple of over 1.6 billion people every single day.
Wow.
At this point in my life, that's where I feel comfort. And it's I could eat dal every day because that is what the Tailor family eats every day. When we say come to Tailor, we say welcome to our home. This is the dish that we have in our home.
I love it. Yeah, you talked about fresh ingredients and looking at these gorgeous chanterelle mushrooms in here. It just makes me think about the seasonality again and going back a little bit. I know you mentioned a couple of people that you work with. But
yeah, I was actually lucky. When I started doing Tailor as a pop-up, this was in 2011. I was doing it at the Nashville Farmers Market right here in downtown. And our number one farmer still to this day is Eric Woolridge at Bell's Bend Farm. So it's just about 15 miles north of here. I've really developed a love for all the vegetables that he grows. So how can we find a way to highlight those on the menu? How can we utilize them here in the dining room? We always put a strawberry margarita on the menu at the bar. They're helping us always whenever we need our ingredients, but also that we can help them.
Very symbiotic.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I know that we're making something special for the third dish.
Yes.
And it was dealer's choice. So
That's
tell
right.
me a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah. So the last dish that we're going to do is the one thing that we always serve on the menu at Tailor. It's a cup of homemade chai. And so the chai is my dad's recipe, which is one that he's worked on for 10 years.
What a gift.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful chai because I think it's such a special part of our family. And something that, it's I think in all the hustle bustle of the world, it's so nice to just have this little moment in the middle of the day where you can just be stop, we're gonna have chai.
What a beautiful ritual. I
it,
love
yeah.
it. I love it. Well, I cannot wait to try it.
Okay, great.
I'm ready.
Here's our chai.
I love it. And these might be the cutest cups I've ever seen.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know you sell the chai mix here
We
too,
do,
which
yeah.
I will be going home with some today for my children.
Great. The spices that we put in there are all spices that come from India. The majority is actually black pepper.
Okay.
And then there's a little bit of cinnamon, green cardamom, cloves, star anise, mace, fennel seed, and coriander seed.
Shall we? Is there a ritual that I need to,
You know,
is there anything,
just
do I need to think good
cheers.
thoughts while
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
this? Cheers. Wow, the depth of flavor in that is so special. Let's talk Nashville for a minute.
Okay.
So when you were thinking about opening Tailor,
Yes.
what drew you to Germantown?
Yeah, so Germantown was always, to me, the great food neighborhood of Nashville. I love that it is a historic part of town, so there's no skyscrapers and all that stuff here. It is, brick-lined streets and just this beautiful little community that lives here in Germantown. People are walking the streets, it's like walking with their dogs or walking with their friends.
Yeah.
Great little shops, little neighborhood restaurants, a lot of homegrown concepts as well.
Is there a place, restaurant or otherwise,
Yep.
that you love sending people to?
Yes, when people come in from out of town, I try to give them like a whole day's worth of stuff for coffee, crema, which has been around for forever,
great.
and then also Cafe Babu, which is owned by my friends Shivani and Alex. For lunch, I always send everybody to Arnold's Country Kitchen. If you've never seen Khalil Arnold work a room, it's like, he's like the president of Nashville.
I love it.
And of course, for dinner, I would say my top 3 places that I usually always send people are Bastion, Rolf and Daughters, and Peninsula. To me, it's like I love Rolf because that's the place that I really, really enjoy eating. His use of seasonal produce, the creativity and the team and the service that exists at Bastion, I think is just such a special dining experience, and it's where I like to celebrate my birthday pretty much every year. And then Peninsula I love because the way that their chef Jake thinks about food is just so very different than the way that I think about it. I think that there's just a creativity and a uniqueness which add to the fabric of what Nashville is.
Yeah.
And so that's what I hope we continue to stay, is just remember that we're all still part of this community and that we're all still friends.
Absolutely.
And let's help each other grow.
Okay, so before we go, I would love to toast to something that you love about Nashville. Okay, we have to look at each other in the eye, though. This is very important. Yes, we must make the connection. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Cheers to Nashville.
Cheers to Nashville.
The town that we grew up in.
The town that we grew up in.
Yes. And hoping that as we grow, we always maintain the soul of our city.
Yes, let's maintain the soul of our city.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to all of you, and until next time, thanks for pulling up a chair.
Oh, that was good.